On a chilly winter evening, Ethan, a struggling young mechanic, spotted a terrified golden retriever stranded in the middle of a busy street. Without hesitation, he risked his own safety to save the dog. Little did he know, the dog's owner, Olivia, a wealthy and mysterious businesswoman, was watching closely, and his act of bravery was about to change his life forever. The winter winds howled through the small town as Ethan adjusted his jacket and worked on an old, rusty pickup truck. The garage, dimly lit with flickering bulbs, was a reflection of Ethan's life, barely holding together. Business was slow, and the bills stacked on his desk were a constant reminder of his struggles. As the clock ticked past 9:30 p.m., Ethan decided to call it a night. Locking up the garage, he stepped onto the empty street. The air was sharp and cold, biting through his thin layers. That's when he heard it. A faint bark echoing in the distance. Curiosity tugged at him, and he walked toward the sound. Under a flickering streetlight, a golden retriever stood frozen in fear, its paws trembling as cars sped past on the icy road. Ethan's heart raced. Without thinking, he bolted into the road, dodging oncoming traffic. Horns blared and headlights blinded him, but he reached the dog, scooping it into his arms just as a truck whizzed past. Breathing heavily, Ethan looked at the dog. "Ethan," softly. "Hey buddy, it's okay. You're safe now." The dog's tail wagged hesitantly as it licked Ethan's hand. Its golden coat shimmered even under the dull streetlight, and a shiny collar around its neck suggested it belonged to someone wealthy. Ethan, examining the collar. "Max, huh? Fancy name for a fancy dog. A new companion for the night." After searching the area and finding no one, Ethan decided to take Max home. His apartment was modest, a single room with a small kitchenette and a worn-out couch. Max sniffed around, his tail wagging in approval. Ethan opened the fridge and pulled out some leftover chicken. Ethan, grinning. "You're probably used to filet mignon, but this will have to do." Max devoured the meal, then settled beside Ethan on the couch. For the first time in weeks, Ethan felt a strange sense of warmth. "Ethan," patting Max, "you've probably got a family waiting for you. Don't worry, we'll find them tomorrow." As Ethan drifted to sleep, he didn't notice the sleek black car parked outside, its occupant watching him through the frosted windows. The morning sun spilled through the cracked windows of Ethan's small garage as he wiped the grease off his hands. Max sat by his side, wagging his tail and watching every move Ethan made. Ethan, glancing at Max. "All right, buddy, time to get you home." He picked up his phone and dialed the number engraved on Max's shiny collar. After a few rings, a calm, authoritative voice answered. Voice on the phone. "Yes, this is Olivia." Ethan. "Hi, I think I found your dog." Max, right? There was a brief pause on the other end before the voice softened. Olivia. "Max? Oh, thank goodness. Is he all right?" Ethan, smiling at Max. "Yeah, he's fine. He had a bit of an adventure, but he's safe now." Olivia, relieved. "Thank you. Where are you? I'll come to pick him up immediately." Ethan gave her the address to his garage. Within an hour, the hum of an expensive car's engine broke the quiet of the small street. Ethan looked up to see a sleek black luxury car pull up in front of the workshop. The door opened, and a tall woman stepped out, her heels clicking on the pavement. She was striking, her auburn hair tied in a neat bun, her coat tailored to perfection, exuding an aura of elegance and control. Ethan instinctively wiped his hands on his jeans, feeling out of place in her presence. Olivia's sharp green eyes scanned the garage before landing on Max, who barked excitedly and ran toward her. She knelt down, embracing the dog with genuine warmth that momentarily softened her otherwise composed demeanor. Olivia, to Max. "There you are, my boy. You scared me half to death." Ethan watched the reunion, a small smile tugging at his lips. Ethan. "He's a good dog, brave too. Got himself stuck in the middle of the road, but we managed to sort it out. Olivia straightened, her gaze shifting to Ethan. Her expression was unreadable, her posture commanding. Olivia, you're the one who saved him? Ethan, nodding. Yeah, it wasn't a big deal. Just glad he's all right. Olivia's eyes briefly flickered to the grease-stained floor, the outdated tools, and the aging cars in the garage. Olivia, do you work here? Ethan, work here? I own the place. He chuckled, gesturing to the small, run-down garage. Ethan, grinning. Well, more like it owns me most days. For a moment, Olivia's lips twitched in what could have been a smile. She reached into her designer purse and pulled out a crisp $100 bill, holding it out to Ethan. Olivia, for your trouble. Ethan hesitated, his pride kicking in. He glanced at Max, then at Olivia's firm expression. With a sigh, he accepted the money. Ethan, thanks. But really it wasn't any trouble. Max is a great dog. As Olivia clipped Max's leash back on, she studied Ethan for a moment longer. There was something in her gaze. Curiosity mixed with a flicker of something softer. Olivia, thank you again. Ethan, was it? Ethan, yeah, and you're… Olivia? Olivia, nodding. That's right. Ethan gave a small wave as Olivia turned and walked back to her car, Max trotting happily beside her. She paused before getting in, glancing over her shoulder. Olivia, you've got a good heart, Ethan. Not many people would have done what you did. Ethan shrugged, unsure of how to respond. Ethan, guess I just did what anyone else would have. Olivia's gaze lingered for a moment before she nodded and got into her car. As the engine roared to life, Ethan watched the sleek vehicle disappear down the street, leaving him standing alone in front of his garage. He shook his head, chuckling softly to himself. Ethan, to himself. Rich folks, always full of surprises. Unbeknownst to him, Olivia had driven away, but she couldn't shake the image of the humble, hard-working mechanic who had risked his safety for her beloved dog. A week later, Ethan was back in his garage, struggling to fix an old sedan, when the same luxury car pulled up. Olivia stepped out, her expression as unreadable as before. Olivia, my car broke down on the way to a meeting. Can you fix it? Ethan raised an eyebrow. Ethan, a car like that? You'd get faster service at a dealership. Olivia, I prefer helping people who helped me. Ethan shrugged and got to work. As he worked on her car, Olivia walked around the garage, taking in the old tools and rundown equipment. Olivia, why do you keep doing this? Ethan, what choice do I have? It's what I know. For the first time, Olivia's icy demeanor softened. She seemed to be weighing her words carefully. Olivia, my late husband was a mechanic. He built his first garage from nothing. Ethan paused, looking up at her. There was a vulnerability in her voice he hadn't noticed before. The dinner invitation. A few days later, Olivia returned again, this time with Max. She invited Ethan to dinner at her mansion, claiming she wanted to discuss a business opportunity. Ethan hesitated, but eventually agreed. Her mansion was a sprawling estate, far removed from the world Ethan knew. At dinner, Olivia shared her story. Her husband, David, had started as a mechanic, much like Ethan. He had passed away years ago, but his values of hard work and kindness stayed with her. Olivia, you remind me of him. That's why I've been watching you. Ethan, stunned, put his fork down. Ethan, watching me? Olivia, not in a creepy way. I've seen how you work, how you treat people. You deserve more than this town can offer you. The dining room was bathed in soft golden light, its elegance almost overwhelming to Ethan. Olivia sat across from him, her posture poised yet approachable. The clinking of silverware filled the silence as Ethan wrestled with her unexpected offer. Olivia. Ethan, this isn't charity. It's an investment. I've seen your potential. You remind me so much of my late husband. He had the same grit, the same fire to build something meaningful from nothing. Ethan stared at her, his fork hovering midair. Ethan, I don't know what to say. This is a lot to take in. Olivia leaned forward, her voice softening. Olivia, you don't have to decide tonight. But think about it. I'll fund your dream, help you get the garage you deserve. All I ask is that you put your heart into it, the way David would have. Ethan set his fork down, his chest tightening with a mix of gratitude and pride. Ethan, I appreciate everything you've done for me, Olivia. Truly, but... He paused, the words caught in his throat. Olivia's brows furrowed slightly, sensing his hesitation. Olivia. But what? Ethan took a deep breath. Ethan, all my life, I've felt like I've had to rely on others. Handouts, favors, they've kept me going, but they've also made me feel like I'm not enough. I need to prove to myself that I can stand on my own, that I can build something without someone else carrying me. Olivia's expression softened, but a hint of disappointment lingered in her eyes. Olivia. Ethan, there's no shame in accepting help. Even David didn't do it alone. He had me by his side, pushing him, believing in him. Ethan, and I admire that. But this is something I need to do my way. For a moment, silence filled the room, the weight of Ethan's words settling between them. Olivia's gaze dropped to her hands, her fingers lightly tracing the rim of her glass. Olivia, you're a rare breed, Ethan. Most people would jump at this opportunity without a second thought. Ethan smiled faintly. Ethan, maybe I'm a little stubborn, but I've learned that the things you work for mean more than the things you're given. Olivia nodded, her respect for him growing with every word. Olivia, I can't say I agree completely, but I admire your determination. Just promise me one thing. Ethan, curious. What's that? Olivia, when the time comes, and it will, don't let your pride stop you from reaching out for help. Even the strongest need a hand sometimes. Ethan looked at her, the sincerity in her voice striking a chord deep within him. Ethan, nodding. I promise. The tension eased as Olivia leaned back, a faint smile playing on her lips. Olivia, well, if nothing else, I know Max approves of you. That alone makes you special. They both laughed, the sound breaking the emotional heaviness of the moment. Max, lying near the table, wagged his tail as if he understood. As dinner concluded, Olivia walked Ethan to the door. Olivia, Ethan, you're going to do great things. I can feel it. Ethan, thank you, Olivia, for everything. Olivia, don't thank me yet. She watched him leave, her heart a mix of hope and bittersweet acceptance. Ethan may have turned down her offer, but she wasn't done helping him. Not yet. Over the next few months, Ethan noticed a sudden influx of customers at his garage. Parts he had struggled to afford were being anonymously delivered. Though he suspected Olivia was behind it, he said nothing. With the new opportunities, Ethan's garage thrived. He finally saved enough to renovate the place and hire more workers. One day, Olivia visited with Max. Olivia, I see you're doing well. Ethan, smiling. Thanks to a little luck and some good people. They shared a moment of mutual respect. Though their lives were worlds apart, they had found inspiration in each other's journeys. Ethan, thank you, Olivia, for everything. Olivia, smiling. You earned it, Ethan. Don't forget that. As she left, Ethan looked around his thriving garage, Max wagging his tail beside him. For the first time in years, he felt like his life was finally on track. Subscribe for more uplifting stories like this one.